All right, I just saw this post from Ice-T. You know what I mean? He calls himself being woke, which you could appreciate wokeism, but the wokeism that black people in the black community appreciate is the wokeism of the '90s. Our woke movement has morphed into a movement that's not actually woke but sleep. So in the '90s, when we said we were woke, that means we were woke consciously to the systemic racism that was affecting the black people in the black community worldwide. That's what wokeism actually come from. It comes from black people recognizing that we have been affected by Jim Crow. We have affected that desegregation has caused us to fall from where we were in the 60s and 70s when a dollar used to circulate around the community for 3 weeks to 4 years. Now the dollar is gone 2 weeks before we get a check because of credit. The only support that black people today mainly give black people as a whole. I'm not saying some of you brothers out there that are supporting black businesses, because you may be 1 or 2% of the population, and if you're supporting black businesses, 50% of your income or 50% of your consumer dollars, then congratulations to you. You are very few. But for the 95% of the black people in this country that support black people, the only businesses that black men and women support are the barbershop and the hair salon. Out of all of the industries that you have, out of the millions of industries, we only support the black barber and the black beautician. That's it. We get our weeds from Asians. We buy our gas from Pakistanians. We go out to eat at Chinese, Asian, Italian, everybody but soul food. And if we do go to soul food restaurants, if we eat out 30, let's just say we eat 10 days out the month, we might spend one of those days at the soul food restaurant. Now, is that a bad thing? I would say no, because we have more culture than just soul food. We should be selling healthy food that doesn't clog your arteries with pig feet, juice in the greens, fat back in the pinto beans, bacon in the cornbread. We shouldn't be treating our people like that. So if you don't eat at soul food restaurants, then I can understand that. But we as a people need to start supporting more people. And that's what the woke movement initially started out as. But come 2000, everybody wanted to be Y2K compliant. So that's a new age way of thinking. So now the woke movement that started out for black people only is now helping transgenders. It's helping the Me Too movement. It's helping everybody but black people now. So when you hear people talking about the woke movement, the movement has taken off and left black people behind. Everybody is woke now, but they're woke to everything but black problems and black issues. So when I see somebody like Ice-T, Ice-T, you my brother. You came out of the slums. You started off as a gangster rapper, which kind of contributed to the condition that black people are in now, because you glorified drugs, gangsterisms, and pimpisms. And then when you get older, you want to become 12, a cop. And there's nothing wrong with that. But brother, one thing you need to keep in mind, you're not qualified or authorized to speak for the people, because even if you just say you're trying to trigger a thought, we don't want to hear your thought, brother. We want to hear what you're doing. When you got money solves problems, not you triggering thoughts. Nobody cares about your thought, okay? Because your thought about a man probably that you felt like shouldn't be president, guess what he's about to do? He's about to stop abortions. We need somebody to stop abortions. Did he do it for black people alone? No. He did it to save the white people and the white babies. But now, as a result, black babies are going to get saved. If a few black babies out there get saved, he's done his job. Because since the 70s, 60 million black babies have been aborted. 60 million. How many black people do we have in this country now? Maybe 30 million. So let's just dwindle a 60 down to 40 survived and had kids. We'll be at 75 million people right now. Then with their kids, we'll probably be well up to 120 million because their kids would have had kids. Because you see some kids are having kids when they're kids. So to be safe, we would be at 120 million strong. Out of those 120 million, out of that extra 90 million, do you think that we wouldn't have had influential physicians, influential doctors, influential scientists, influential politicians, influential inventors, influential business owners that actually creating jobs that are able to say why are the felonies still on their job applications? Because you're speaking to the problem. You're not being a solution to the problem. You could be a solution. You could easily hire 100 or 200 people with a business that's profitable because you can afford the consultants and you can afford to brand your businesses. So you could create businesses to where you could be like, you know what? You know what would be strong on iced tea, brother? If you created 200 jobs now and you say, you know what? On my job applications, I don't have felony convictions on it. Do you have any felony convictions? So if this man became president and he was a felon, why is it still on job applications? It's not on my job applications. Do you know how much more powerful that would be? But now you're being a part of the woke mind virus because you want to bring up talking points for the I gotcha moment or for the what do you think about that? You know, how you like that for thought? Nobody cares about that because that's not solving any problems. Solving problems, brother, is creating jobs. And I'm not talking about 9 to 5 jobs that's paying $14 to $15 an hour. I'm talking about jobs that are giving people middle income status is where they're making $100,000, $250,000 a year. Those type of jobs, brother. And then then convictions aren't a problem. Say you start a bank, brother, that employs 50 people, 100 people. Then on your applications don't have convictions or felonies. You know how powerful you would sound? Right now, you just sound like a clown, bro. And I'm serious. You sound like a clown. You sound like the clown show that's being paid to keep black people dumb. And we're not dumb, brother. So when you post stuff like this, you're posting it like we're dumb. Nobody cares about what you think. The only way we care about what you think is if you start doing. Until you do, instead of thinking, that's a big difference, bro. Otherwise, you're just talking for having talking points so you can get Twitter activity going for the algorithm so you can try to sell something. Nobody cares about that. Create jobs. Create growth within a community. How many jobs have you created, brother, outside of people that's in your family or in your little inner circle? How many strangers have you brought up to this so-called woke consciousness and now they're able to be living middle-class lives and you're able to make money off of it, but while helping other people? Who are you helping, brother? Who are you helping and where are they? Where are they? Where are the job applications that they signed that doesn't have felony prerequisites? Okay? So until you get on that level, brother, we don't want to hear what you got to say about a felon being a president. Because guess what? He's done more for black people than you have. He's approved for permanent funding for HBCUs. What have you done for black people? He at least had the nuts to talk about a black platinum plan that black people didn't hold him to. So now Ice-T, you know how you could make how you can make make a noise. You can be like, hey Trump, now that you're in office, what about that black platinum program that you talked about that's on your website? The one that you ran off of that you catered or tailored for my brother Ice Cube. That's how you make noise. You're using your platform and you're using your platform in order to be a clown and a court jester. You're not using your platform to be an influencer and one that's making moves and getting things done. So until you become a mover instead of a shaker, because right now you're trying to shake things up. Be a mover. Make things happen. Make things change. And you know how you could do that? By holding this feet to the fire. Let's get back to that black platinum program since you're in office. And let me show you the black platinum program that's up because it's still on his website today after he's been elected and nobody's holding him to this. Let me pause this and show you Ice-T. Now watch here. Today is Wednesday. 2 days after Trump got inaugurated. 2 days later. Tuesday, Wednesday. So what is the day? The 22nd? Now watch this. Oh wow, Ice-T. It's still up there. It's still up there. Let's see what it says, Ice-T. Okay, Ice-T, this how you make moves, brother. Stop being a clown. Okay, the Platinum Plan, President Trump's pillar, opportunity, security, prosperity. President Trump promised to Black America over 4 years, 3 million new jobs for the Black community, creating 500,000 new Black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in Black communities by almost $500 billion. This was a conversation. Why you ain't talking about this, brother? Are you against Black people or are you with us? Because if you was with us, bro, guess what? You'll be talking about this type of stuff, but you're not. Hold his feet to the fire. Commit to working on Second Step Act. Okay, Ice Cube. Ice-T. The Second Step Act, guess what? For felons to get back in the workplace, Ice-T. He's already talking about it, but why aren't you pointing this out, Ice-T? I know you know about it. Access to better education and job training opportunities. Give Black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their communities. Why you ain't talking about this? Black churches need funding because guess what? If they get funding, we could turn these ghettos into communities. Because guess what? They could get daycares and they could pay daycare instructors good money to educate our kids and be tutors out the school, Ice-T. They could be tutors out the school. They could create programs to teach kids financial literacy in the churches, Ice-T. Why we not talking about this, brother? Why you picking petty topics to talk about when this man, he drew out the plan for the Black people, but nobody's holding him to it, Ice-T? Bring better and tailored health care to address historical disparities. These are topics that are on his website, Ice-T, that nobody's holding him to. But so if you want to say something, Ice-T, why don't you talk about this type of stuff, brother? Immigration policies that protect American jobs. He's still going off of that policy because he's trying to get rid of the illegals so the Black people can get back into the construction industry, Ice-T. The construction industry. How can a little Black boy straight out of high school that knows he's not going to make it through college, but his only options are McDonald's, working in Macy's, driving a garbage truck for the city, doing stuff like that when he could get in construction? How can he compete against people that are crossing the border that's already skilled tradesmen. They were trained in Honduras. They were trained in Mexico. They were trained in Venezuela with these trades. But we don't have any trade schools to train us. So how can a little 18-year-old compete against a 24-year-old that's been working for 6 years and already seasoned in construction? How's that little black boy going to start out at $17, $18 an hour and in 5 years making $31 an hour without going to school unless the immigration policy has changed, Ice-T? Well, we're not talking about this type of stuff, brother. Advance home ownership opportunities and enhance financial literacy in the black communities through the churches, brother. Why we're not doing this? Why you want to talk about this petty stuff, Ice-T? Why you not being a man and really holding Trump to the fire, Ice-T? What is going on, brother? Okay, what's going on? Onshore manufacturer to invest jobs and development opportunities for black-owned businesses. Oh, Ice-T. He's talking about injecting $500 billion in our community, but you're not talking about that, brother. You're talking about an application that you don't even have. You don't even have applications, and you could have applications to hand out, but you're not handing out any job applications. You're just pointing out stuff just so you can say you woke, brother, and that's the wrong type of woke. You're part of the woke mind virus, and then you could go through this yourself. Let's see the second step back, Ice-T. Okay. All of this is in here. All of this is in here. All of that's in this plan. Okay, jobs. Reach black economic empowerment and access to capital. Jobs. Reach even greater levels of historic employment and wage growth for the black community set in 2019 so that anyone looking for a job gets one, Ice-T. Seek infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities. So this isn't the 10% minority participation. He's talking about creating $500 billion for black businesses and for us to get contracted. Okay? So guess what? If I'm a drywall installer and I'm a black business, I can get funding to train more black people to become drywall installers, Ice-T. He's talking about doing funding, and guess what? He's going to give us funding for training, and guess what? He's talking about giving us federal contracts so they can have on-the-job training. So if they're building a federal building, guess what, Ice-T? I get to get on that federal building and use the federal dollars to train people in the field, Ice-T. Why aren't we talking about that, brother? Okay? Grow minority-owned business with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring. Yes, Ice-T, you don't think we need tax cuts? Why are you not talking about that? Encourage onshoring development of domestic manufacturing to increase supply chain, business development, employment. Ice-T, you don't want to onshore. You don't want to create a manufacturer, Ice-T, so you can hire 200 employees on government funding instead of your own pockets, Ice-T. You don't want that? See, you picking the wrong fight, brother. You picking the wrong fight. That's our president for the next 4 years. Instead of trying to be confrontational, why don't you be invitational and invite him to a conversation so we could talk about this type of stuff, Ice-T? You've been a distraction, brother. You've been a distraction in the worst way. Examine barriers to employment, including fees, occupational licensing, arrest record inaccuracies, and expungements. So he wants to expunge records, Ice-T, so we don't have to worry about the felonies on the job applications, Ice-T. You didn't know this? So you got to educate yourself, brother, before you start making these bonehead arguments, Ice-T. Instead of holding somebody to these arguments, these points. This is on his website, Ice-T. Why are you not holding him to this, Ice-T? What are you doing, brother? What are you doing? You're making up stuff, but you're not really doing your research, Ice-T. You've been a problem. You've been a nuisance. You've been a fly. You've been a gnat. You've been a mosquito that needs to get swatted instead of being a solution to the problem, Ice-T. What's going on, brother? Okay, increase activity in opportunity zones, including benefits for local hires. Okay, Ice-T, in the opportunity zones. You know what opportunity zones are, Ice-T? In the slums. Those are opportunity zones. That's what we need, manufacturers. That's what we need, food chains. That's what we need, banks, movie theaters that are our own, Ice-T. Where are you at? Are you sleeping? posing to be a woke? Are you posing to be woke and you're really sleeping, Iced Tea? Is that what's going on? Are you really sleeping but posing to be woke? Are you dreaming right now? Are you having a nightmare right now, Iced Tea? Iced Tea? What's going on, brother? Okay, and I'm gonna read this last point, but you could read on down. Invest almost $20 billion towards broadband and internet access to create job opportunities, have improved classroom connectivity, and the ability to utilize telehealth services. Iced Tea, where are you at, brother? You're being a problem instead of the solution. Hold his feet to the fire, Iced Tea. Why are you not doing that? Why are you being a fly? Why are you being a maggot? Why are you being a slime ball? Why are you being those things instead of being a solution? Bring the conversation instead of being confrontation. Have a conversation, brother. Be invitational. Be conversational. Don't be confrontational to the person that can help us. He has a plan already on his website. He's waiting for somebody to talk about it to activate it. Iced Tea, what are you doing? Come on, brother. All right. This is Justice for Blacks. Wanted to bring this to everybody's attention, and hopefully this gets the Iced Tea so our brother can get his mind right and help the community instead of being a cancer to the community. Checking out. See you next time. Peace.